Liverpool have beaten Girona 1-0 away from home, keeping up their fine Champions League form. Surely, they're not only Champions League favourites, but they're creating a massive margin between them and the rest of the pack. It was a big win, and you reel off some of the results in Arne Slot's first Champions League campaign with Liverpool, going for their 7th European title. 4-0 at home against Leverkusen, 2-0 at home against Real Madrid. Wins away from home against Red Bull with a clean sheet. Again, obviously tonight against Girona, 3-1 against Milan, 2-0 against Bologna. It just goes on and on. And Liverpool have basically qualified. They've probably basically qualified in the top 3 guaranteed now. They've got Lille and PSV to finish off their Champions League campaign. That happens, I think, at the end of January. So Liverpool have basically had the most perfect start you could ever wish to imagine in the Champions League. We're going to break down the goal that obviously saw Liverpool win 1-0. Big chances the other end for Girona as well. Another clean sheet. We have to talk about the back line for Liverpool, which does look stronger and stronger, and where it leaves them. At the moment, you have to say it's been a very positive week for Liverpool. Obviously, the Premier League title race is different to the Champions League competition. They're different competitions, but on some level, you miss a week. You get certain players like Alisson back. You get certain players like Harvey Elliott, who obviously came on today from the bench. Someone like Diogo Jota obviously didn't play today, but he'll be getting a little bit closer. Arsenal slip up, Man City slip up, and Chelsea are in a bit of a title race themselves. And Liverpool go to Girona with a little bit more energy. And you feel that going from Everton to Girona is a little bit more difficult than having no Everton game and then going to Girona. Liverpool managed the game very well. High amount of possession. It's the kind of thing that you didn't see much with Jurgen Klopp. Yes, Liverpool could keep the ball at points, but the amount of controlled, dedicated possession this Liverpool side have in a tricky away fixture. This is a Girona side that did very well last season. A lot of their players left, of course, but a lot of Premier League experience. You look at Dan Juma, you look at Gazaniga. It's basically a Premier League ex-Premier League 11. Donny van de Beek, Romeo in midfield, of course. And Liverpool just bullied them with the ball, really, over double the amount of passes. We have to talk about in the first half. Look, let's be real. Girona had a big chance 10 minutes in. Alejandro Frances, big chance against Alisson. And Alisson makes an unbelievable save, reflex save just low near him as well. That is a massive statement. You're telling me that the one weak point, which I definitely think you could highlight after the Newcastle game of Kelleher. And Kelleher has been fantastic. I think some of the narrative was a little bit over the top about him being world-class in his own right. I don't think he's world-class. He's a world-class backup, for sure, and he could be a top 10 Premier League keeper in his own right. He's not world-class. And how do you improve a back line that has been very stingy? A back line where Virgil van Dijk's been fantastic. Andy Robertson's come into great form. They don't concede goals. Basically, they don't. They've conceded only, 1 or 2 in this whole Champions League campaign. Then you add Alisson back into the fold after nearly 2 months out. It's worrying for rival sides. He's the best keeper in the world. I maintain that because of his distribution. I think he's got a better distribution and understanding of modern players and modern keeper than someone like Courtois. I really do. And he's a better shot stopper than Ederson. I still think he's by far the best keeper in world football, despite maybe hitting those 30s, a couple of injuries in the last couple of years. It doesn't matter for me. It really doesn't matter. It was a big save, and it kept Liverpool in it. Now, obviously, Liverpool get the goal 63 minutes in. It's a really cheap foul on Diaz from Donny van de Beek. Obviously, an interesting narrative there, being ex-Manchester United. Doesn't really matter. He was such a flop. I don't think he's considered an ex-Man United player. He was such a flop. Barely played. Always on loan. And obviously ex-Ajax as well, which is interesting for the Feyenoord manager, ex-Feyenoord manager. So it's a cheap penalty on Diaz, and obviously Salah tucks it away. Again, penalties. I mean, I tweeted about Cole Palmer's penalties against Spurs, but they're still a massive part of the game. And you can get slagged off for maybe being overly praising of a player scoring penalties. Of course, a player should really, especially of Salah's quality or Cole Palmer's quality, be scoring them 9.5 out of 10. But still, to get 28 goals or assists in 22 games. 28 goals or assists in 22 games. It's outrageous. There's never any doubt he was not going to score it. And he's the first player for Liverpool to score 50 goals in European competitions. I'm not entirely sure if that's in the new Champions League format era. If it's ever, that is an unbelievable statistic. if he's the first Liverpool player to score 50 goals in European competitions. Because you're talking about King Kenny, Ian Rush, you're talking about Torres, Gerrard, Suarez. Well, maybe not Suarez because they didn't really play much European competition back then. But you're talking about some of the greats. Robbie Fowler. Liverpool were in and around those competitions with Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen. And he has surpassed all of them, even in the Klopp era. Someone like Sadio Mane as well, and Bobby Firmino. To get 50 goals in European competitions is an amazing statistic for a club rich in the tapestry of European football, like Liverpool Football Club is. You have to check and leave me a comment down below. Is it first to 50 in the modern Champions League or in all European competition? If it's the latter, it's an unbelievable statistic. It really is. Liverpool are in pole position. I think the Lille games and PSV games that come up for Liverpool now are basically irrelevant. You can basically play a whole B side. I think Arne Slot should take a leaf out of Enzo Maresca's book in terms of playing a complete B side for those games. He'll obviously be looking at the kind of intricacies of it, and if you come second or third, what could happen. But you never know what results could go Liverpool's way, and they may maintain that kind of first place position throughout the campaign. If there's no jeopardy, I think you have to really be strong about it and not try and be too philosophical and try and play everyone and keep everyone consistent. Lille and PSV, I think they finished with PSV in particular, has to be an opportunity for Arne Slot to really rotate and rest players. A big one that came on today, Harvey Elliott came on. He's another midfield option. And actually Arne Slot came out recently and talked about Harvey Elliott with a little bit of detail. Because obviously Jurgen Klopp at points played him in any of the attacking midfielder positions in a 4-3-3. I've seen Harvey Elliott in a multitude of positions. But Arne Slot's come out and said that he's got the potential to be that kind of right winger. We saw that with Jurgen Klopp as well a couple of years ago. So I think that's pivotal, because I think you're looking at. I don't rate Nunez on the right. I think he has to be things coming onto his body. He has to be opening up things with his body a little bit. Despite the fact he missed some big chances today, we'll talk about that as well. But Harvey Elliott on the right gives Liverpool a lot more control. It's a little bit like Bernardo Silva for Man City on the right. Having that midfielder could give Liverpool a lot of control. I think Salah should have come off a little bit earlier, really. If I'm on a slot, you're trying to wrap him in cotton wool, aren't you? He ended up playing, I think he played the whole game. He played the whole game. So you think maybe don't fall into the Arteta book a little bit of playing every player, every top player, every minute. And Harvey Elliott will be a big addition. We do have to talk about Darwin Nunez. It feels like every week we're talking about the big chances that he's missing. 34 minutes in, he gets a lovely little inverted ball from Salah, and he smashes it almost straight at the keeper. It must be so frustrating from the Newcastle result. I doubt if it will make a massive difference, because I think when Jota comes back, he won't be starting as many football matches as he is, and there's a world that he'll be gone by the summer, in my opinion. There is a world. But it is frustrating. It must be for Arne Slot, because he is missing big chances. I think he's the second highest biggest misser of big chances in the Champions League this season, behind Erling Haaland. I managed to get that one out. It's crazy because I think he's got the technical ability to be a whole lot better. If you look at his highlight package from Benfica, even for Uruguay, he buries chances. I don't know what it is for Liverpool, but he just seems. I mean, the one that I'm talking about, 34 minutes in, I think he could even bend that into the top corner. I really do. I think there's a lot more there for him, but yeah, he hits it straight at the keeper. Must be very frustrated for Arne Slot. All in all, it's only Girona. This is a side that won't even qualify through the group, and this competition lets everyone qualify, with all due respect. But it still is a big learning for Arne Slot. Bringing Alisson back, Joe Gomez had a good performance today as well. Nunez, and obviously Harvey Elliott. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've made it this far. I'll see you very, very soon.